Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I know it's been a very long time and I'm blonde and I got blue eyes, but you know, it is what it is. Life, gotta live life, you gotta live life. But yeah, I just want to come back to you guys with a very exciting video, which is my foundation routine, how I highlight and contour and how I achieve this flawless base. So let's jump straight into the video and enjoy. So we're going to first start by applying my moisturiser. It's my favourite one before makeup. It's Pond's hydronourishing cream and it's so good. Like, even though I'm oily skin and it's for, I think, normal to dry skin, it's really moisturising in the sense that it's not thick. It just does what it like says it does, just nourishes the skin. And I feel like it sits really well with makeup. So just a thin layer of it. I'm going to prime my skin with L'Oreal Studio Secrets Resurfacing Primer, and this is so good for oily skin, honestly. It's like discontinued, but I don't know, I think you can find it on Amazon. Fills in all the pores, smooths out the skin, gives it like a baby skin finish. So the foundation I'll be wearing today is both the Makeup Forever HD foundations. This is like the perfect combo when you're going out and you know you're going to take pictures. This is good for like bridal work, anything photography, because it won't flash back. So first I will use the Makeup Forever stick foundation. So I'm going to apply it to the skin just like this. I'm not going to lie guys, like when I was thinking about doing this tutorial, I wasn't going to do it because I got 2 fat spots here, but I feel like they've calmed down now in terms of texture, so foundation will cover like majority of it. And I will show you guys just how full coverage both of these foundations are. So now that we're like this all painted up, we're going to blend. So I'm going to use the Real Techniques buffing brush, and I've had this brush for like a long time. This, look at it, like it's quite destroyed and just, but it works back good for me still. And I've had it since like it came out basically. So just gonna go downwards just so that the foundation melts into the skin and it goes against the growth of hair. And this creates like a flat like texture against the skin. You don't want anything, you don't want it to catch any dry skin flakes or hairs or like, you know, hair follicles. Can you see just how full coverage this is? Like, look at that, like majority of my blemishes are covered. And you can kind of see that it's a lighter colour because it's so full coverage that it just blanks out anything. Like, it won't give you any depth on shade obviously because it's so full coverage. So that's when I start to highlight and contour after. Because obviously in real life, skin has like shadows and lighter areas, and we're going to add that back later. So now that we've got like everything blended and all like applied down, I'm gonna use the beauty sponge. It's not a beauty blender, don't get twisted, I ain't got money for that, but this is the beauty sponge from Superdrugs, and I'm just going to pat that over the skin, and what this is going to do is absorb any excess makeup and foundation, just so that the skin's more flat and not as textured as it is. So now I'm going to use the liquid Makeup Forever HD foundation in the shade 127. Both shades are 127 by the way. I'm just going to shake it up and then pump it on the back of my hand. And what I like doing is I like using my finger to apply the product, not blend, to apply. I personally like using my fingers to apply the foundation because I feel like when you use a sponge to apply and blend, it absorbs majority of the foundation, and even with the brush it can absorb a bit, and so I like using all of it. So now that we've applied it everywhere in our skin, we're going to blend it out with the same brush, same motion going downwards. And I don't know if you can tell, the liquid foundation is a bit more yellowy and more pigmented than the stick foundation, which is good because I need to add some more yellow back into my skin, if you can see. I'm just patting away, making sure there's no brush strokes. Don't know if you can see, but my spot, the texture's still there. Hopefully one of those contours is going to hide it. But the hyperpigmentation, the redness of it is like almost gone. It is gone. Yeah, it is gone. And I try to avoid my eyelids because obviously it creases. But it looks crazy right now, but don't worry, when I concealer, highlighter, everything. I don't know if the camera's picking up this yet, but the liquid foundation of the Ultra HD is really, not really dewy, but just dewy and glowy. And it might put people with oily skin off, but honestly, it works for me still. I just powder up my skin and it's good. And I'm a man. and I'm a grown ass man, and trust me, I sweat and oil comes through, but with this it doesn't show through. It doesn't look like, ah, why is he glowing like a disco ball? Do you know what I mean? That's all blended now. Now we're gonna go back with our beauty sponge, just pat over to absorb the excess. And I tell people to do this and they think, oh, I'm not gonna do much anything, but trust me, it will make your foundation game change. Okay, so now I'm gonna highlight and contour. So first I'm gonna highlight, and I'm gonna do it strategically because I don't wanna do it around my eyes first because it's gonna start creasing, and we just want it to like set first. So first I'm gonna do the other areas like the chin. And okay, sorry, this is the Maybelline Age Round Concealer in the shade Light, and it's good, I like it. And this concealer is really good for dry skin, it's really moisturising, and even though I'm oily and it should crease, it actually doesn't if I bake and set it into place. I'm going to avoid my spot, can you see, because I don't want to highlight it. I'm going to contour it and it's going to shade it down. So now I'm going to use the Real Techniques Beauty Sponge, Complexion Sponge. I like using this for applying highlighter, like blending highlighter, because it's soft and it's good for under the eyes, not too harsh, and it won't create wrinkles. Pat really fast but softly, kind of, not too hard, because that means you're like basically taking away the product. Just want to pat enough where it's blending. I'm looking really bright right now, I know, but trust me, when I contour it's gonna look good, trust me. So now I'm gonna conceal my under eyes and just cancel out any darkness and bluey tones. So I'm going to use the Collection Perfection Concealer in the shade 2, and I like this shade because it has a nice pink undertone to it, which really counteracts the darkness under the eyes. And what I like about this concealer is that it sets itself, so like it really doesn't budge, which is good for oily skin people because obviously it really stays put under the eyes. For dry skin, I recommend the Maybelline Age Rebound Concealer more because it's more moisturising and nourishing. And this is the contour brush from the Real Techniques Core Collection, which I like for blending concealer because it really fits well under the orbital bone. Orbital bone? Is that the word? Yeah, orbital bone. Orbital bone. Can you see immediately the under eyes just like it's really boom, gone, the under eyes, majority of it. Well, I know all of it is, but I just like looking extra and like adding more highlighter. Again, absorb the excess with the sponge. Boom. So now we're gonna highlight with the same Maybelline Age Rewind. Why do I keep saying Maybelline? Maybelline Age Rewind Concealer, and I do it in a certain way. So I like doing an upside down right angle triangle, so it slims down my face. I don't like bringing it all the way up here like some people do because it just widens your face, which isn't the point of highlighting and contouring. You want to slim down your face. Boom. Can you hear that sound? And I like going against the nose just to snatch the nose inwards. Just complements the contour. So can you see? Going inwards. You can see like visually, you can see my face going slimmer because of the brightness under my eyes. And now we're gonna blend it. So, Real Techniques Beauty Sponge again. Pat, pat, pat. Can you see the concealer just melts into the skin? It is so good. And whatever's left from the sponge, I just slightly go here on the eyelid, like the brow bone, not on the actual eyelid because I don't want product to be there. Boom. So now we're gonna contour. So I'm gonna be using the LA Girl concealer in the shade Fawn, and I think this is perfect for my Asian girls with that are between like NC20 to NC25, maybe NC30, because it has a bit of like yellow brownness in it, not too orange brown. On the back of my hand. Some people like a sharp contour. I don't like a sharp contour. I like more diffused. The blend, it's like more faded and transitional. And I'm gonna use my beauty sponge again. Pat, pat, pat. Enough. Not too saturated. It's from the top of middle of the ear actually to the corner of the mouth. But I don't go all the way in because nobody's contours like that. More like where the eye finishes and ends. Pat, 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 pat. I'm kind of going in circular motions just to create that diffused look when you really can't tell where it finishes and starts the contour. You see already. Just keep going back and forth, and whatever's left of the product you go upwards into the actual cheekbone, and you can fade it downwards as well, whatever's left. Most of the concentration should be right here in the center. Can you see? Can you already see that face? Like, boom, chiseled, snatched. I'm gonna do the forehead now. Same thing, boom. Obviously contouring is more personal, so if you have a bigger forehead, feel free to contour more here and there. But I have an okay forehead. I just like adding warmth to my skin because obviously I applied such a full coverage foundation that is taking away the essence of my skin. Does that make sense? Now I'm gonna go along the chin, kind of the jawline. So this bit you have to be careful. You don't want like an orange streak. You want it to fade into the neck. So I'm gonna start here. Most of the concentration should be here because I don't want a double chin. Dear. And then whatever's left over, fade in. And LA Girl's like a really affordable concealer. Like, it's so good. And I just go on my chin, and then you can blend along the neck. Not fully. You don't need to blend it all the way down. Whoa. You don't need to blend it all the way down because it's gonna fade into the neck. Good, good, good. Okay, so now that the face is all blended, we're gonna do the nose contour, which is a bit more tricky in a way. So first, I'm gonna apply the nose contour, but I'm gonna do it in a way where it's going more narrow and it's gonna pull the nose inwards, which is what you want nose contour to do, like going in dots. Just because it's not easier. If you go in a straight line, sometimes you can go a bit wonky. Okay, I went a bit wonky, but I'm going to correct it with a bit of concealer. I'm going to blend first, and then I'm going to correct it. Just because I went a bit overboard. So what I'd like to do with blending the concealer, I like starting from the corner of the nose, and I go downwards, but I slightly feather it out. Whoa. I slightly feather outwards. Just because you don't want to fully blend the contour in a way where basically it's all gone. Like, obviously you want it natural, but you want it to still be there. And I'm just going to go outwards ever so slightly. And if you can see, I'm not going inwards yet because I want most of the blending to be away from the nose bridge. Can you see? And I'm using a Royal and Lanicle brush. It's from the Love Is collection set. And it's the shading brush. Back to my beauty sponge from Real Techniques. I'm gonna pat everything down and blend it. And I'm gonna use this to blend it inwards, just because it doesn't take away too much of the product. It still leaves some of the definition there. If you can tell, everything's all blended now. You can see like everything's coming together now. There's more warmth and depth into my skin. I'm gonna apply a bit of the contour on my cupid's bow and under my lip, just to add some more dimension, because I feel like this bit is a bit just bright by itself. Same brush, blend, front, boom, 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 there. So now we're gonna set and bake the face and keep it into place. So you can see, if you can see, I don't know if you can see, the camera's picking it up, but on this eye, some of the concealer's creasing because I have a crease here. You don't want to set it when it's creasing because it's gonna set into a crease and it's gonna be like that for the whole day. So blend it out first, just to smoothen out the under eye. So when you set it, you're gonna set it as a smooth under eye, not a creased under eye. I'll be using the RCMA powder to set everything, my whole face. I'm not going to use it to bake because I prefer other powder and I'll show you, but I'm going to use it to set my under eyes and the highlighted areas first. Using my Real Techniques Duo Fiber brush. I love this brush for the under eyes and highlight areas because it fits everywhere. I'm just going to pat down the concealer, pat down the powder I mean. And the reason why I do this, I do a clear transparent powder, because when you use something like a yellow powder, let's say Bennye banana, and you just bake it straight away, it doesn't set evenly it just cakes up under the eye because you're using the liquid and you're like literally just throwing powder on top of it, and it's not going to absorb well. And especially because of the yellowness, when you step straight onto a wet concealer, it's going to intensify that yellow or orange. So, and you're going to have like yellow under eyes, which is what which you don't want, I mean. So when you use something like a clear powder, a translucent powder, it's just going to lightly set the face. It won't allow the yellow powders or Bennye banana powders to fully set in and take over. Boom. So I'm going to use the Bennye banana powder to set the highlight areas. First start with the under eyes. And you can see I'm just pressing it in, not patting it, just only patting it on the edges just to fade it in. But when you're around the under eye area, you don't want a lot of product, like especially here around the creases. Just pat it, not too much, and then you can just fade. It's literally so messy. Can you see all the powders flying around? And I'm wearing a black t-shirt and it's just hotmess.com. And people like to leave it to bake for like 10 minutes, and I ain't got time for that. What happens is that when you're applying it and then you move on to the other side, it's already baking. So by the time you finish applying everywhere, you can just go back in the same order and just swipe away. And if you can see, my under eyes are really flawless. I don't know, I just had 10 years worth of sleep. Going back in with my RCMA powder, I'm going to set the whole face. And what I'm doing is I'm pressing the powder into the skin, because when you swirl like this, you're basically disrupting everything you've done underneath, like the whole contour and highlight, which you don't want. And when you're pressing it down, you're basically locking in the foundation on your base, making it last even longer. Now that we're all set with translucent powder, I'm going to use a pressed powder just to add some more colour into the skin, because when you use the translucent powder, sometimes, not all the time, it can create a white, not a white cast, but it just doesn't have a natural skin finish to it, like a skin tone, like a yellow or a peachy or olive skin tone. So what I like doing, I'm going to use the MAC mineralise skin finish in medium dark to set the entire, and just basically sweep away the excess powder. And it's just going to add that natural fleshy skin tone back into the skin. Until you see. Boom. Okay, so now we're going to contour with powders. So I'm really picky with my powders because I really like a natural, not a natural, like a natural, but like just more blended finish. So I'm going to use the Sleek Contour Kit in light. I'm not going to show you guys because it's basically cracked and like it's going to pour out everywhere. But I'm going to use a Royal and Nickel brush again. It's not too orange and it's not too cool. Something in between. So it's going to mimic that natural shadow. So now I'm going to contour the nose with the same powder. I'm going to start first, same basically positioning with the cream contour. Apply it first, right where you need it, and make sure it's coming to a point, and then fade outwards, just so that it's diffused, and then blend into the brow bone. And sometimes if you feel like you went a bit too overboard with your nose contouring, just get your face powder and just go like that. Just basically brush up the edges. Whatever's, why am I speaking tongue? With whatever's left on this powder brush. So now we're going to bronze the skin and add some warmth to the skin, and I'm using the INGLOT bronzer. I think this is shade 3, and this is really good. I like this. And I'm going to use a Real Techniques Duo Fiber brush, the bigger one in the set of 3. It's basically kind of going higher than a contour because the contour will help you define. But I like going in circular motions to really diffuse the product. And this bronze is really pigmented, so be careful. And can you see there's already warmth into my skin? And I'm going to blend it out later with my big powder brush, because sometimes even with this bronzer I can go a bit too overboard with it. I just like to hit a bit on my chin. And just cut some fat off my neck. Back in with the powder brush. This is from Makeup Revolution, like a set I got. But it's really good, I like it. Okay, so this is my extra step I take when I really want to snatch my face. I'm going to take the NYX blusher in the shade Taupe. It's a really cool tone grey colour. Not like really grey, but it's a really grey tone colour. And go right underneath the bronzer, and that's going to help define and just lift my cheekbone up. I kind of want a slim, facial structure, so I go inwards like this. Can you see? I'm just gonna add that extra. Same thing with the nose. I really want to define it because I like really snatched. I like a really snatched nose. So I'm gonna use the BDLM Tools 777 brush, and I'm gonna go a bit more extra inwards. I hate how this spot is showing through. Can you guys see the spot? You know, it is what it is. Hormones, baby, hormones. I've just cut the nose here, blend the edges. This is another extra step I like taking, especially when I really want everything to be fused together as one. I like taking the MAC Mineralise Skin Finish in the shade Dark Deep. Just a little bit. It's like a Top Shot powder brush. Just to fuse everything together. So now we're gonna highlight, which is one of my favourite parts. Okay, this is Destroy, Don't Judge Me. But I want to use the Makeup Revolution highlight in the shade Golden Lights on the Screen Face London brush. This is a natural bristled brush. And I like using different kind of highlighters on my skin because it adds a really multi-dimensional glow. So this is my first highlight. I'm going to use the Makeup Revolution Golden Sugar 2 version 2 Rose Gold highlighter palette. So I'm going to use like this. It's like a pearlescent highlighter. And it's going to add the extra lift into the skin because I'm extra. MAC Mineralise Skin Finish in Soft and Gentle, a classic. This is more, how do you say? Opalescent, that's the word, opalescent. Which creates this like more luxurious glow and feel. Before I do my nose contour, I like, nose highlight I mean, I like to basically, people like bake along the nose. I like doing that, but I like a more diffused look. I don't like looking like, oh, why has he got a nose contour? Why is it so sharp? So I like using my brush, the Duo Fiber brush, which I blended the banana powder with, and I just blend the edges in myself. And this does sharpen up the look, but not in a way where it's draggy, if you know what I mean, not like pinch, like more like blended. Can you see? It's just more. Now I'm gonna nose highlight. I'm gonna use that this colour, it's like a pearly finish. And I'm gonna give myself that cute butter nose effect. So first, line the nose bridge. To make sure you're really even. So what I'm doing is I'm just going over the nose bridge, basically in between the nose contour, and basically lifting my nose bridge up. And I go back into my bronzer brush, just because I don't like a sharp shimmer look. It needs to be blended. It needs to be blended. And now I like creating that button nose effect. So what I'm going to do is, on the highest point of my nose, I'm going to add like a really bright dot. And obviously I don't like it really sharp and bright. I'm just going to have to fade it out. But you're going to still see the definition in glow. So to make sure the highlight is really set and like, you know, set down and will not brush out the whole day, I like using my damp beauty sponge and just going over it. And what it's going to do, the moisture from the sponge is going to lock in everything. Oh my god, how can I forget? I like adding a bit of shimmer in my inner eye corner. Because I feel like, why is this little brush up? Because I feel like I got a cat eye shape. What this is going to do is highlight that and make my eyes look more sultry. Okay, so now we're going to add blusher, but the way I use blusher is that I don't use it in a way to look like I'm wearing pink. I use it in a way to warm up my skin. So I'm going to use the Milani Baked Blusher in Luminoso. It's really good. So what I'm going to do is tap in between the highlight, in between the bronzer and contour. What this is going to do is basically just add a bit of warmth in the skin because it's quite a peachy, luminescent highlight, blusher. It's going to really make the skin look pretty. I just like blending whatever's left and apply it to my skin. So guys, we're nearly finished. I'm going to set the skin and apply another highlight, which is one of my secret techniques to have that little intense glow. So I'm going to use the Maybelline Superstay 24-hour makeup locking setting spray. So what I'm going to use is the INGLOT face and body highlighters, and they're really intense, especially when you do what I'm going to do now. So one's kind of champagne gold and one's opalescent, literally opalescent. So let the skin be 8% dry basically, because when you apply it straight away it's going to pick up too much of the highlighter. So I'm going to swirl my brush. I'm using a roll and nickel brush as well. It's a fan brush. Any fan brush will do. I think it's ready now. So the first champagne shade, I'm going to apply it like quite generally along the cheekbone, not on the highest point of the cheekbone. And can you see the intenseness? And if you can see, I'm laying my fan brush flat, not like this, because I'm going to use the other highlighting powder to really apply it in the high point. Okay. Now we're going to apply the opalescent powder. Now I'm going to face it directly and apply it right in the highest point. Do you see that? Do you see the action? Do you see? Even when I'm turning to the side. Boom. And this is going to basically grab attention to your highlight, to your cheekbones, because highlight obviously to highlight and show off the features of your skin that you like, and it's going to pull the skin together. Can you see? And the contour is going to emphasize it and just shape it. I also like adding a bit right above my brow bone, because I feel like it gives that generic glow, and gives that brow lift. Because I'm extra, I'm going to apply a bit of that right there. Same technique with the damp beauty sponge, just pat it just to lock it into place. So now guys, because obviously I've applied so much product, it's covered my eyebrows, made them lighter, made my lips more flat and bland, I'm gonna basically clean them up. I'm gonna show you a technique of how I shape my lips and make it really sharp and not pouty, but just sharp and more full. So I'm gonna use the makeup remover by Garnier, the micellar water, and a Q-tip. So I'm gonna first do the brows and let it go back and forth. Do you see? My eyebrows are more like darker now because I took off the excess product. So with my lips, I'm gonna smile, let them talk, and just go on the border and clean them up. And what this is gonna do is basically wearing lip liner but not wearing lip liner. Like, they're basically really shaping the lip and bringing back its natural fullness. Voila! The look is all done. This is my look. This is everything. So right now, I'm going to do my hair and I'm going to put my contacts in because I'm blind and I can barely see you guys. And I'll come back to you guys, so see you in a bit. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you got to learn a bit of tricks and techniques on how to create a flawless base like how I do always. I know that this is not for everyone. This is a really full coverage, you know, special occasion kind of makeup. But I love it and it photographs beautifully, so hope you do it, and yeah, I'll see you in my next video. Thank you guys, bye. How do you be sexy please, because I'm just trying to like put some Sierra on and we keep going.